All right, you see the hair is kind of curly this morning, and it's cooler, right? But yet, like I said, right, the longer it gets, all right, and you wonder why I got the book, right, to show you what I'm talking about, because you're stubborn, right? You don't like listening, right? And that's from the demons, right, inside. So they trick us, right? There's what's called the good angels and the bad angels, right? Whether you believe in them or not, too, right? That makes it easier for them to influence you, right? To do evil to each other. Now, is sex alone evil? It depends, right? Or anything can be good or evil if you do it wrong way. There's also a wrong way to have sex. In a way, and a right way to have sex. It depends on what you're into in a way too, right? Right. Now you see how on the right side here, it's curlier. Can you tell the left from the right, by the way? Now when I'm facing you, the opposite, right? So it's going to be a double entendre now, right? Is a picture within the picture, right? So this side is the left side, right? Right. And this side is the right side, right? Right. Now you see the similarities here already, right? Though again, the hair is longer, right? Curlier, right? Therefore, it's not even the same length yet, right? Meaning, as it gets longer, it's going to look more like the picture, right? And you see my overall appearance hasn't changed too much. Now I'm closing the eye a little bit this morning, right? Why? I don't know. I just, what did I eat last night? Well, a sandwich, right? With cheese, ham, 3 thin slices. Well, who did the Chinese menu for the New York style Chinese food? A Jewish man, right? Does he include pork? Yes. Yes. Why? Because Gentiles eat pork, right? Right. Right. That's part of judge and not, least ye be judged, right? Well, why did Moses forbid it? Because the hardness of your heart, right? That's kind of what it means, right? Same with divorce. Are you supposed to divorce, right? Or not divorce? It depends on the woman, right? Now, if she commits fornication against you, she's the one acting estranged, right? Or not, like she's not happy. Do you stone her for it, like Jesus showed, right? Or do you forgive her for it and pardon her? You ever think of that? Now, especially in the Psalms and the Proverbs, it talks about pardons, right? Because David sinned a great sin himself, right? And did the Lord hold him accountable? Yes, the child died, right? For the sins, Christians, of the mother and father, right? Rape is as murder to a woman, right? And you damn sure don't marry her to a rapist. It's sarcasm sometimes, too. Think about it, right? Moses wants you to think about what you're saying there, right? Should a mother or a father who rapes a child, right, marry that child because they raped them, right? Even a statutory rape. Even if it felt good to the child because the child didn't know better, right? Like a boy could have sex with his mother, right? And be more prone, right, to like it, right, than a girl. She's the one being penetrated. If you do it wrong, you can hurt her. Right. Exactly. That's why I do what's called foreplay. I go downstairs right, to the hole, and I want to go inside, and I make it ready with a little licky licky action. A licky licky before I sticky sticky. A licky licky before I sticky sticky. So she feels good, right? And feels like, oh, something's about to come inside me and gets moisturized, right? As they say. Lubricant down there, right? And then when I go in gently, not all at once. Right. Virgin or not, virgin or not. I'm gentle. I'll even let her be on top of us our first time. So I don't know. Maybe I did her from behind and couldn't tell she was really beating, but maybe she had to wipe something off, right? I don't know. I can't really see if I don't know exactly what he did to me either, right? I can't say. Well, once, like I said, you could have let go. Mm-hmm. But we weren't done with the nail job, were we? No. And we were in the store the whole time, so why the extra hour, right? And like I said, three times. I know me, right? Plus, I don't remember or I do, right? But I can't really say if you lied about your age. But being honest as I can, right? Which that's called what? Tact or what? Mm-hmm. The something starts with the D. I know. Discretion, right? Why am I using discretion? Well, if I remember it or not, and he's doing something violent towards me, he's including her, which turns it from, again, a statutory rape situation into a attempted murder situation, right? Which she can go to jail for, right? And him. I'm the one being the innocent customer going into the store thinking the girl's 37. No. Once she tells me she's 37, who's breaking the law then? Her. No. Why? She's supposed to be 16 to start working in the store, right? She also is supposed to have a GED. Why? Right? She's not supposed to be in school, right? And like he talked about emancipation, right? She wasn't being emancipated. She was working in the store underage. You're like a, what they call a factory worker, working underage children. Yeah. That's what you did. Right? You can't work her till she's 16 in that job. Can she work a different job like Burger King or maybe at the theater? Yeah, that's different, right? But you ask her age, and she has to tell you, right? Unless she feels she's doing shit wrong with you. Exactly. And she is. For that job, you're working her too soon. You had to wait a year, right? Legally. Whether she's your daughter or not, right? Then you're scaring her and I'm scaring her a different way. She might even think if I go into the store, she has to have sex with me or something, right? To get you out of trouble and act like she's a 37-year-old, because a 37-year-old can go into the bathroom and have sex. I mean, I told you other women have, right? So she might have felt she didn't have a choice. But it wasn't me not giving her a choice. Right. It was you letting her work too early, and she didn't want to understand why she couldn't, right? Yet work, right? That job. But it's okay. I forgive you both. Even if you don't forgive me, right? Do you see the difference? That's like Jesus and those who crucified him, including the 12, right? Only one man of his disciples was actually in the crowd, they say. And that's John the Beloved, right? Not John the Baptist, he was done beheaded, right? Unless he resurrected him too, right? That's the only way, I know. and he was beheaded, right? And you know they wouldn't believe in that, right? Now, how can you tell it's longer? It's down by my chin, right? It's not yet down by the chin. That's all that means. It's not the same length, right? Now, it might look a little longer here, but it's still just the way it goes, right? Mm-hmm. I know. It's still the same person, though, with the hair in a different way. Mm-hmm. It's not the same length quite yet. Right. Mm-hmm. And you still see the cowlick up here. Mm-hmm. See, it's also combed a little different, right? Yeah. It's combed more near center. Mm-hmm. But not quite center either, right? See, if I change it around, it'll probably look similar, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. See, I'm seeing if you're paying attention, Christians, guess what? You're not either. Mm-hmm. Well, what's the reason, right? We're supposed to forgive the sinners because Christ forgave us, right? Or you're missing the whole message, right? Peter, forgive to be forgiven. Condemn, you're condemning yourself, right? You're sinning too. There's things you're not telling them about Jesus, you're still supposed to tell them, right? And if you didn't, two other men did, Paul and John, right? In the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, every word shall what, Christians? Be established. Right, you can't deny that both John and Paul are kind of saying the same thing, though in a different way. And John even calls him the door and says he's the door, right? Now, we have a heart, both male and female. He has to enter into us when we believe God raised him from the dead, right? Right? So he goes inside of us too, right? And at the same time, we're born of him, reborn again. You can't be born again of a man, right? But you can of a woman, right? So another way to say he's both, without directly saying it to the crowd. He's saying it to the crowd. They don't know what he's saying. It's another parable, right? But John remembers the parable, even if Peter didn't, or Mark didn't, or Matthew didn't, or Luke didn't, right? He remembered different things, right? No need, right? Even the woman caught in the act of adultery, he seems to be the only one to remember that, right? And what Jesus said about it, right? Now, why would Constantine have a problem with that, though? Or the Catholics or the Orthodox? The woman cheated. They would shouldn't have probably stoned her than forgive her. Get the point? Right. Now, and the fact that she has to be his wife is why did they bring her to him in the first place, right? When Joseph and Mary had the same situation, who decided her fate? Her husband! Or you're what? Lying! Right. You're misinterpreting the scriptures, including the Old Testament that says including in witchcraft, right? The husband is to pick up the stone and stone her first, and any rebellion from the law is witchcraft, right? Including adultery, right? So that's why they brought her to him to see if he would stone her. Plus, they're supposed to bring the man too, not just her. Both of them committed adultery, right? So they gave Christ what's called a loophole in the law. By bringing her only. I told you this before, right? Plus, let's say she wasn't his wife. He couldn't even decide her fate, right? It's none of his business. Like the song says, if it's not her husband, it's none of his business, right? He couldn't decide her fate, so he forgave her anyway, right? Plus, they still had to bring the man, right? Whether it was his wife or not, right? If she committed adultery, 2 commit adultery, not 1. And then they're trying to put the sin all on the woman, like in Eden, right? When it's the man sinning too, right? They're trying to pardon the man, but not the woman, so he pardoned the woman because they pardoned the man, right? He pardoned both. Two. He didn't make him go and get the man either, did he? No. Did he remember that part up? Or did he write it? No. The two is all he would have had to say. Shall be stone, shall be stone, right? Not a lot of writing there, is it? Right? You know, not really, not really. I know. Read the scripture in Leviticus about adultery. It says what to do. It's on the both. He's on the both, right? The two shall be stoned, right? Now, in the English, we say both, right? That means the two. That means the two. So God will sooner you forgive the wife, even though Adam and Eve sinned, they forgave each other, right? Still, there's a form of forgiveness there. Though it took 105 years for Seth to have a child. Why? You need two, right? You need a wife to have a son, right? Just like even in heaven, you need something there to make the angels out of, right? Let's say it's a fiery type environment, right? Like the sun, right? Well, if it is, we can't just go there without becoming an angel, too, right? They say Enoch became Metatron, right? An angel, right? Because you're going from earth back to heaven, right? Where we came from, in a way. And now, if you're a alien hunter, right? Or trying to understand the technology of the fallen ones, right? Which that's what they're showing you, their technology to confuse you, right? They're still angels from a different planet, a different world, from heaven, right? Not from the earth, however you want to phrase it, right? Now, why do I bring that up? Because whatever's going on, something's coming here, right? Legally or illegally. Maybe they're not supposed to either. But it's to confuse us for both good and bad, right? And to keep doing each other good and bad, right? And as long as we're good, doing each other good and bad, they're halfway winning and the other side's halfway losing, right? So you're not 100% for the Lord, nor are you 100% for Satan. So you're what? Lukewarm, right? That's how they want you too. If they have you equally confused as you are thinking you're saved, right? You're not fully saved, right? You're only partially saved then, right? But you say, why are you so hard on us? I'm not. Sin is. The sin nature itself means you know what you're doing could be viewed as wrong by at least 3 different religions, for example, the same with homosexuality, right? Now, bleeding hearts is what they call them who support homosexuals, but still, it's just sex between two consenting adults, right? Hopefully, all of them realize you can't have sex with an underage child either, gay or straight, right? You can't use a child in a movie if you have to have sex with a child for the child to be in the movie. That's sexual harassment and rape, right? Statutory rape. Even if you make the child feel good, it's rape. So, like I said, do you think, I know, everybody in Hollywood is having sex to be in a movie or something? How do they do that? If you don't agree to the sex, you're not in the movie, right? That don't make sense either, but some of you believe that, don't you? Right? Christians, right? You're not Christians, right? And having mercy on the homosexuals, what Jesus is trying to show you, right? All sins, right? Including homosexuality, are to be forgiven, right? Unconditionally means while they're still sinning. Until they repent. Even if it's on their deathbed, you like the thief on the cross, right? Right. Even if they aren't sure they're doing something wrong, they can still repent on their deathbed, maybe, right? Let's say they don't and they go to torment, right? Well, you don't know that. You don't know where you go when you die, right? They might still make it into paradise, and that would upset you. Why? It's not you who determines where the soul goes, it's God, right? And if Satan is intervening and trying to make it sin, Do you think God thinks that's fair to us or unfair? Unfair. Well, what do you think God would do if he's mad with Satan because he's trying to kill us all and send us all to torment? What's the actual plan of salvation there? Let us into paradise anyway? Mm-hmm. You see what I mean? Right. That's how good God is. How bad you are, right? It's like in the Green Mile. When you die, you paid your debt, right? You can't do nothing wrong anymore. Nor good or nor evil, right? But you say that makes you lukewarm. Well, we're all going to hell. We're lukewarm. We're lukewarm. If you base it on that, no man is telling the whole truth. They're not one. They're not one. You understand? Now, to clean this up, I might have to sit on the floor. Guess how long it took me to come up with that? Just now. Just now. But like I told you, right, I'm disabled. You're not granting me the disability, nor do you want me to find someone to help me. I can't afford it on my budget to pay the bills, right? Now, Congress wants even the disabled and the elderly to pay almost a third of their check to get help if they're disabled or can't really get around, right? If you make over 800, and I think it's 14 or 880 something dollars, somewhere between there, right? You have to pay to get help, even Meals on Wheels, right? You're not ball, Congress. You're not caring for the people. You're caring for your pocket. How much do you make a year? 100,000? And you won't even give people assistance? Now, I'm not saying you might not have to pay a little, but they're almost broke, right? You can't live off of $814 or whatever it is, actually, around $800 to $900, I'm sure, somewhere in there, right? Even disabled, because you need food, you need shelter, unless you put them in a home, right? And what if they're not as bad as needing a home, right? Now, when my mama's cousin was dying slowly, right? And her son Stan, I think that was his name, took care of her, right? He can probably afford Meals on Wheels and pay it out of his pocket or something, right? We can't. Not even my mom, right? She can't afford. See, I make like 1032, right? Well, from 814, right? That means I have to pay $311, I think she said, right? To get assistance to clean the house, right? And one bad leg, right? Like I said, right? Mm-hmm. Don't rub off. It's not a tattoo, right? It's a scar. It's a scar. Mm-hmm. I know. So I'm trying to help people while you're half butting it, right? You're only making sure you're getting paid, right? Mm-hmm. Well, you give me $100,000 a year, I'll at least be in a house and a car. Mm-hmm. In 2 years. In 2 years. Mm-hmm. Then if you're reelected in 5 years, you have $500,000, right? It takes me how many months to make that? Double. 10 years. 10 years. Let's say I make around 50,000 if I was to get the correct money from VA. Mm-hmm. Which I'm arguing with them about that. Mm-hmm. So, let's say though I were to make the 100%, right? That still only gives me around 50,000 a year, right? Still under 75, by the way. Mm-hmm. Which again, right? I need about really another 1,000 a month to really live comfortably, right? And that's not even to date, right? Though again, right? Even on the dating sites, I tell them I can only figure you or try to, right? And the females still try to bait me, or the males. That's what I'm not sure of, right? I'm not even sure it's not males posting pictures of pretty girls trying to get me to comment, right? And see which one can get me to comment first, right? Or pay to comment, right? And like I said, even $50 for 10 comments or 10 credits, right? Ain't worth it. I know it ain't. Not when the stamp is still around 60 cents, right? And you're charging me double to buy 10 credits for $15, right? I'll never talk to you. I'll never talk to you. I can't. You're not paying me enough to, right? I ain't saying I ain't getting no help, but, it's not $1 million either. It's not even $100 to $200, right? Which, what's that, right? Mm-hmm. Though I told her that too, I'm honest, right? Mm-hmm. Well, see, if I'm sexually harassed, that should bump up the amount I'm paid, right? Whether it's for bipolar as well versus schizophrenia, which I think I'm more bipolar because, again, I talk about that in the book, right? I sound bipolar, right? I hear negative and positive things, right? Well, I'm not suicidal. I don't get depressed, and I stay more manic or more hyper or more, right, in that state, right? I don't see negative all the time, do I? No, nope. Well, that's because I believe in God. You don't. You don't. My job is to try. It don't mean because I'm telling you the truth and you're rejecting it. By the way, that God don't expect you to reject it. You've been rejecting it. In fact, besides me and Jesus, guess who's the only one to see it? Right? Who wasn't told it by Jesus? Right? Like the disciples are. Like Paul was trying to tell them in the synagogues. In the synagogues, you can only use the Old Testament, idiots. You wonder why there was no Bible at first, New Testament. They used the old dummy. You freaking lunatics, right? You archaeologists who don't have common sense. They at least had the old, and they couldn't translate it even into the Greek. Called the Septuagint looking up. Now, they did a bad translation. They didn't include everything. But they probably didn't think the Greeks even really cared, right? But the Jews should have cared more. They even misinterpreted Isaiah 60:16, right? And changed it from paps, evil son, to riches. So now, well, doesn't John say you think you're rich, but really you're poor? That could be a reference to that. You don't know, do you? Right? Or you don't want to know, right? Okay.